At the southernmost edge of the planet rises one of the most hostile environments humanity has ever dared to inhabit. Antarctica is not just a desert of ice. It is a territory where the wind cuts like invisible blades and the cold forgives no distraction. Among white plains and frozen mountains, small scientific stations endure like islands of light amid the icy vastness. There live men and women who chose to trade the comfort of the known world for the relentless pursuit of answers buried beneath kilometers of ice. These people face an environment that challenges the very concept of survival. In winter, temperatures can drop to below 65 degrees below zero. A cold so intense that exposed skin freezes in minutes. Skin freezing is a constant threat. Fingers, nose, ears, the most vulnerable parts of the body, can suffer irreversible damage before pain is even fully perceived. Hypothermia advances silently, reducing the ability to reason, confusing thoughts, and leading to poor decisions. Even breathing can hurt when the frigid air enters the lungs like microscopic needles. Every breath reminds the station's inhabitants that they are living at the limits of human endurance. And it is not only the cold that brings danger. Winds exceeding 200 kilometers per hour sweep across the continent like primordial forces, capable of knocking down structures, overturning vehicles, and erasing footprints in seconds. Among the most treacherous phenomena is the so-called whiteout, when the sky and the ground become indistinguishable. The landscape loses depth, loses contrast, loses meaning. The horizon disappears, and human perception fails. In a matter of moments, a person can become lost just a few meters from the base. Without visual references, without shadows, without outlines, everything turns into an absolute white void. It is like walking inside a dense cloud, where every direction feels the same as the last. Beneath this seemingly smooth surface lie deadly traps. Deep holes, crevasses hidden beneath layers of recent snow, can reach tens of meters in depth. A fall into one of these openings can be fatal if rescue does not occur immediately. Ropes, probes, and strict protocols are part of the routine of any movement. Even so, the risk is never zero. Scientific missions on this continent usually last from 6 to 12 months. It is a commitment that demands not only physical preparation, but also mental strength. For a station to function, a small human ecosystem is required. Engineers who keep generators running, mechanics who ensure the operation of vehicles, doctors ready for unexpected emergencies. There are also cooks, responsible for bringing warmth and comfort through shared meals. Communication technicians who maintain the fragile link with the rest of the world. Pilots and logistics teams who challenge extreme conditions to transport supplies and people. Every role is essential. Today we follow William, a scientist who has already been at the station for 7 months. Time in Antarctica feels different. Days and nights blur together as the season progresses, and the calendar becomes just a number marked on the wall. William wakes early, even when the sun barely appears on the horizon or does not rise for weeks. He puts on layers of thermal clothing, checks equipment, reviews weather reports. Every outing requires meticulous planning. His main task is ice drilling. With robust machines and millimeter precision, he and his team extract deep cylinders, ice cores that hold silent records of Earth's past. Each layer, accumulated over thousands of years, traps air bubbles, particles, traces of volcanic eruptions and climate changes. By analyzing these samples, William can observe the climate of distant eras, understanding how the planet reacted to natural transformations long before human presence. The work is meticulous and requires patience. Drilling can take hours under brutal temperatures, while the wind tries to destabilize equipment and operators. The extracted ice is carefully catalogued, stored, and transported for analysis. Each cylinder is like a time capsule. During his movements in the field, it is not uncommon for him to encounter penguins. These encounters bring brief relief, a reminder that life persists even in the harshest conditions. Still, the white vastness never allows complete relaxation. In more distant regions, the remote possibility of encountering a polar bear turns any excursion into a potential situation of extreme risk. Once, while returning from a collection area, William experienced a moment he would never forget. The sky was overcast, visibility reduced. He followed the markers installed days earlier, attentive to every step. It was then that the ground beneath his vehicle gave way slightly. Just a few centimeters ahead, a deep crevasse revealed itself, dark as an abyss. His heart raced. One more step, and he could have disappeared into that invisible opening. The team quickly isolated the area and reinforced the markings. Later, while reporting what had happened, William acknowledged that he had been saved by a combination of caution and luck. But the most difficult days were still ahead. On a particularly long expedition, the thermometer registered 65 degrees below zero. The air felt solid, almost impossible to cross. Even with special gloves, multiple layers of protection, and strict protocols, the cold found its way in. After hours of work, William began to feel tingling in his fingers. Then came numbness, a dangerous sign. He tried to move his hands, but sensitivity was rapidly fading. The team decided to interrupt the activity and return to the station. The wind intensified the thermal sensation, making every minute critical. Upon arrival, the base doctors identified clear signs of frostbite. The skin was pale, hardened, and some areas already showed severe damage. The controlled rewarming procedure began immediately, but the body does not always respond as expected. In the following days, the seriousness of the situation became evident. In such isolated environments, there are no fully equipped hospitals, nor specialists available at any moment. Air evacuations depend on weather conditions, and during certain periods, they can simply be impossible for months. The station's medical team had to manage the situation with the resources available, assessing risks and making difficult decisions. Unfortunately, 2 of William's fingers did not withstand the damage caused by the extreme cold. Amputation became inevitable to preserve his overall health. It was a moment of heavy silence in the small infirmary. Recovery was slow. William had to relearn simple gestures, adapt to new limitations. 3 weeks later, a weather window allowed his evacuation. The aircraft landed on the improvised runway amid the ice, bringing the promise of a return to the outside world. Back in his country, journalists eagerly awaited answers. They asked about the cold, the fear, the pain of the amputation. They questioned whether he would ever return to that unforgiving continent. William listened calmly to every question. His voice carried no dramatization, only conviction. He explained the importance of the research, the urgency of understanding climate change, the need to study the past to protect the future. When he was finally asked whether he would return to the station, he answered without hesitation that he would. Because there, beneath the millennial ice, he had found his purpose. Despite the hardships, the scars, and the losses, William loves what he does. He loves discovering the world's secrets, uncovering stories trapped in the ice, contributing so that humanity can better understand the planet it inhabits. For him, the risk never outweighed the passion. William's story is just one among many that unfold silently in Antarctica. Men and women continue to arrive at these remote stations, driven by scientific curiosity and courage. They face the cold, the winds, the isolation, and the medical uncertainties with admirable determination. They know that every piece of data collected can influence global decisions, shape environmental policies, and warn of possible futures. In the end, Antarctica remains a powerful reminder of the force of nature and human resilience. Amid ice, wind, and silence, stories of overcoming, sacrifice, and hope emerge.